406.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 411 from 406. I'm Chewie, that's Mr. Pip. How are you, sir, this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm in front of my microphone. I'm in front of my best friend. We're talking. It's good to be back. We talked a couple times during the Halloween season, which was fun. Not as many
Yes.
as I had hoped, but not too bad at our current schedule. And we had some good conversations around that. Has the horror movie trend kind of died off for you now that the spooky season, as you call it, is over?
You know what? It has slowed down, but I've actually watched quite a few horror movies, kind of specifically for scare tissue over the last couple weeks. I've watched a couple of short films which were really good. There's one called Drama Queen, and then one called Stalker. Both were probably in the 8 to 15 minute range, which were both really well done. And then I watched a full length feature called Thy Will Be Done, which was surprisingly really good as well. It was one of these like indie films where I was blown away, like especially like the first probably 20 minutes did not look at all like an indie film. I mean, it looked straight out of like, big budget, had some really big names in it as well. And what's the guy that played Pinhead? Bradley? Is it Doug Bradley?
Yes, I
Um,
believe so.
yeah, he was in it. Kurt Angle was in it. That Kurt
What?
Angle. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean,
I did.
it was a super bit part. I mean, he was in it for 95 seconds, but he was in it. But yeah, so I've been watching some stuff. And then I think we talked about on the podcast. Did I give you the recommendation to watch the series on? I think it's on Disney Plus, Goosebumps.
Yeah, you did the David Schwimmer
Okay.
one, right?
Yes. So we went back after thoroughly enjoying the second season, and we went back and we watched the first season as well, and it was just as good as the first or as the second one.
Oh,
So
nice.
those are both really good. So yeah, we've been watching those. So yeah, I'm spooky season's over, but it's never really over for me. I'm a big I'm a in fact, I did have one thing on my list for tonight that I wanted to chat with you about briefly
Yeah.
pertaining to spooky season. Um, are you familiar with the YouTube channel Dead Meat that he does all the kill counts? Are
No,
you
I don't think
familiar with
so.
that? Dude, it's amazing. So this guy, guy's name is James A. Janice, and he does this series called The Kill Count. And basically, what he will do is he will go and watch all your favorite horror movies, and he will dissect and talk about all of the kills in every one of those movies. And I'll have to send like they're phenomenal. I've been watching it for years, but I just recently have been rewatching his kill counts about the Scream franchise, which, if you recall, was my number one favorite horror franchise in our
Yep.
last podcast. And just going back and rewatching those videos made just reinforced my decision that that is absolutely my favorite franchise. It is so much fun. Those movies, in my opinion, really hold up. Even I did rewatch recently Scream 3, which is, far and away, in my opinion, my least favorite of the franchise. But even that one is starting to grow on me. And I realize it's rose-colored glasses, but I just really enjoy that franchise, top to bottom. And I cannot wait for Scream 7, which we finally got the trailer for on Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'll check that channel out and I'll go through
Yeah.
some of that because I'm interested. But yeah, since we have talked last, we did, I think, accurately predict that the trailer for Scream 7 did drop before Halloween, or was it on Halloween? I can't remember. I think it was
I think I think it was on Halloween, maybe. Yeah, that
okay.
it came out.
It was either that Thursday or that Friday, which was Halloween. Um, and I thought the trailer looked pretty good. I mean, it looked interesting. They're holding a lot back from it, obviously, as they should. But it definitely it had some good vibes to it. I'm trying to even remember now that I'm saying all this what happened in the trailer, because I'm forgetting some of the details other than obviously the return of Nev Campbell's Sidney Prescott
It,
and Courtney Cox and all of this.
it,
Do you remember?
it
Like,
was
can you recap it
I,
real quick?
I do, yeah. It was so two people at the beginning of the trailer go into um I I believe it's Stu's house, and it's effectively an
Mm,
Airbnb.
that's right.
And and they've got all sorts of Ghostface animatronics, and then at least in the trailer, Ghostface appears. And I have heard since that trailer came out that that is actually the opening scene of the movie. I don't know if that's
That
true or
makes
not,
sense.
but it does, because if you're going to give anything away, like that's the thing to give away. um the other thing that um that I have read is that they are bringing back actors from the previous entries, to the point where you actually hear Stu Macher's voice at the end of this trailer. I have a feeling they're going to really lean into like AI and deep fakes and those kind of things, because I mean, Stu might be alive, but like there's some other characters that they're bringing back. Scott Foley, they're bringing back, who was the actor that played
Roman.
Roman Bridger, right? He's clearly dead.
Yes.
So
I think
so I
Dooley
so
too, right? Like I think that there
yes,
were
David
rumors
Arquette
that
is yes,
like almost
yes.
all of the I haven't heard Jamie Kennedy's name, so I don't know if he's involved. Skeet Ulrich will probably be back, I would assume, because his character has obviously come back in the last couple movies as sort of
Hmm.
a vision, if you will. But yeah, I think that they're trying. I don't know how they're doing this or what they're doing, but I'm really fascinated by how they're going to pull this off, especially these guys being as old as they are. Now, to your point, maybe they
Hmm.
do a lot of de-aging and things like that. They did that with Skeet Ulrich in the last couple movies. Maybe they do that with Matthew Lillard. I don't know. The de-aging thing is kind of a hit and miss thing for me because the
Hmm.
visuals usually look great, but the vocals or the audio usually doesn't match. And my best frame of reference off the top of my head was the newest Indiana Jones movie. They had that scene at the beginning of the Dial of Destiny where it obviously took place like back in the past, like around Last Crusade time, or maybe even before that, between that and Raiders, where they did some pretty impressive stuff visually, the way Harrison Ford looked and behaved. But then they stuck his old 80-year-old gravelly voice in there, and it totally ruined everything. Like they could have
Yeah.
had a voice actor come in and do some of that stuff and had it go better. So, obviously as men and women grow older, their voice changes. It either gets much more husky or it gets more gravelly, or in some cases gets a little bit more high pitched. And I just hope that they, whatever they do, that they commit to it, that they go into it all the way and it doesn't become one of those, like I wish they wouldn't have done it kind of things.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I don't remember if we touched on this. Do you want to see yeah, do you want to see a alive and well Stu Macher in this episode?
I will answer that question by saying I I want Matthew Lillard back in this movie. I want him
Okay.
as an actor in this. How they do that with Stumacher in terms of did he never die or does he come back as a force ghost or whatever the situation might be. I don't know, and I'm willing to give them the slack to try to figure it out. But I think at this point, I think it's almost long overdue. I think he should have been involved or brought back in it a long time ago. And yes, I do want to see that because I'm concerned that I'm going to go into this movie and it's just going to be a new crop of kids and sort of copy and paste type stuff because I don't know, um, I'm a little unconfident, if that's the right word. I lack confidence in the fact that they're going to be able to tell a compelling story for the seventh time with, some of the same actors, but not all of them. Like how are they going to get me interested in this again? So
Hmm.
I think Matthew Lillard's a fantastic actor, and he added so much charisma to that first movie that I think that him being back, as long as they don't Emperor Palpatine this thing, I think that it's going to be, really, really good. I think that's the best thing. And then I mentioned this before, and I'm interested to hear, your perspective on this, or to talk it out here. But I am speculating at this point that they have to kill Courtney Cox, like that she has to die in this movie, because I don't think they're going to take a chance on killing Nev Campbell, and I don't think they're going to take a chance on making her the killer. I almost don't even think that makes sense at this point. So I think, what are they going to do to make a big enough splash? And I think Courtney Cox has to die. I just think that that's where we are at this point. Because why do we keep dragging her back into this? It just didn't make any sense. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
think?
and I think we referenced this during the last podcast. I'm pretty confident that she died in the last movie, and they just kind of retconned it the
For
same way,
sure.
you know, Duke in the GI Joe. Oh, he was in a coma, kind of thing.
Right. Well, they
Yeah, I mean,
had to,
she
because
was
they didn't know if Nev
right,
Campbell was ever going to come back.
right.
And they were probably perfectly willing to cut the check for Courtney Cox to be, the legacy star of that series
Yeah.
for however long they want to continue to do this. And when they finally worked things out with Nev Campbell, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I think if they're going to make any kind of impact at all, they have to consider another really big move like that.
So I would agree with what you're saying. I don't know that I'm gonna care if Courtney Cox dies at this point, though. You know what I mean? Like
No.
I understand Gail Weathers. I mean, at this point, there's only two left, right? There's Gail, and there's Sydney. I'm not really gonna care if Gail. I hate to say that, but I mean, I cared when Dewey died. I cared when Jamie Kennedy died. I don't know. It'll be. I think you're right, though. I think they got to kill one or both of them. I also agree with you. I don't know that they're going to do it with Sydney. And that's kind of what worries me a little bit about this one, because without well, I don't know, are the other, so I know Melissa Barrera and Wednesday, what the hell's her name?
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, so they're not back as far as I know, unless they're keeping it under wraps.
That would be
And
an
I don't,
impressive swerve if
it,
they
it
pulled that
would,
off.
it would. I just don't care enough about the other two of the quote unquote core four from those new movies.
Nah.
So to your point, I'm going to have a hard time caring about a brand new crop of kids. And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm fully expectant to be let down. But I was with the last three as well, and I was pleasantly surprised with those. So I don't know. We'll see.
I tell you what would be fascinating, and this is some WWE shit right here, is if they could somehow pull the mask off the killer at the end of this seventh movie, and it was Jenna Ortega. Like they bring her back for I mean, because they don't need her in the movie, because we all know that
Right.
she's not going to be there. So all they got to do is bring her back for a 5 minute cameo to come
Mm-hmm.
back and say, I couldn't take it, something. I don't know what the storyline is that she flips, but like that would be badass. That would be a
Yeah.
very clever misdirect. I don't think that they'll do it, but also couldn't put it past them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, storyline wise, the one that would make sense would be Melissa Barrera, because that's Billy's daughter.
Right. And
So
I don't remember. I know that she had spoken out and said some things about, was it Palestine or something like that, that
yeah,
was
it was real
controversial.
world stuff.
They
Yeah.
got her fired. But I'm just like, at this point, like, does anybody remember, and does anybody care?
No.
Like, what a bunch of bullshit posturing on the part of Hollywood's part to do that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like whatever happened was egregious enough that they would be banned from the series forever. And actually, Jenna Ortega wasn't banned. I think she just, I, I think her excuse was that she had a conflict or that she didn't want to do it or something, but it sounded more like she was in solidarity with
Yeah,
Melissa Barrera
think
over that
I
whole
think
thing.
so.
So that
Yeah,
was the impression I got. I obviously have no idea what the actual story is, but either way, whether I'm looking forward to this or whether I'm dreading it, I'm gonna be there on opening weekend with a ticket and a bunch of popcorn in hopes that I'm wrong about every premonition I've had about this movie. So I'll be looking forward to it for sure. I
yeah,
don't love the February release date. That never really sits well with me. Um, Especially because I mean, I don't know what else is coming out in Halloween next year. Who knows? But the last one came out in the late winter, so I don't know.
yep.
Maybe it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. That's typically when they dump movies that they don't think are going to do well, but who knows? Maybe it's by design at this point. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, um, let's see. Have you seen anything? Have you seen anything recently? How about you? Did you asked me? Have you been watching anything spooky since the season's over?
No, not particularly. I didn't watch as many things as I had kind of hoped for, but I mean, I think I checked off the things that I wanted to see, or revisit the things that I wanted to revisit. I know there's a final Conjuring movie that's coming out on streaming, I think here pretty soon, which I'll probably check that out. I mean, those are okay. But I guess this isn't spooky. I can't call it spooky, but I will say that I did go to the theater. Well, first of all, I've been trying to make a more concerned effort to go to the theater. We have a movie theater. It's a really nice one right by my house that does like $5 movies on Tuesday nights. And
Oh wow.
Tuesday's not the most convenient night, but $5 is, and I get like a free small popcorn out of it too. So I get to go to the movies and I get fatter all at the same time. And so I've been trying to even to go to see movies that I know I wouldn't normally go to see, but because they're cheaper and because I, can usually find someone to go, I tried to do that. And the last movie that I went to go see, well, I saw one movie recently. It wasn't spooky. It was the Leonardo DiCaprio one that's getting such good reviews. The Oh God, I'm blanking on it now. Um, Hold on, I gotta. It's the One Battle After Another. It's the Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Okay. Okay.
It was really, really good. Loved that movie.
Was
But
it?
the one that I saw last week was the new Predator movie. I went to go see Predator
Oh,
Badlands.
Badlands. Okay.
And first of all, I went not even knowing that the movie was PG-13. I had no idea. And honestly, I liked the movie. I thought it was good. It was worthy of a watch. It is a different movie for the Predator franchise. I mean, I don't know. I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. But like they take the Predator character and they make it more the protagonist than the antagonist. So
Hmm.
he's not the one out trying to murder the good guys. He's really trying to go out and prove himself on a quest for his tribe, if you will. And Elle Fanning is in the movie, and she does really great. And yeah, I mean, I liked it. It did enough to make me want to watch the next one if it comes out or whatever the story is. So I saw
Okay.
that and I liked it. I thought it was good. I guess Predator is owned, well, obviously it's made by 20th Century Fox, which is owned by Disney now. So that's probably why we're seeing a PG-13 movie. Um,
Hmm.
but it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought that was the most recent thing that I've seen that I thought was noteworthy.
Good. Okay. Now is Elle Fanning like a is she like a cyborg in that? Because I've seen like
Yes.
okay, so like she's
Technically
she's
there
like
are
I've seen half
no
of her. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no humans in that entire movie.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
There are only um, two human character, or not human. There are only two characters played by humans, and Elle Fanning is one, and the other one is a guy, and he's also a what do you call him?
Yeah,
Uh,
cyborg.
Android, synthetic,
Okay.
or whatever. Yeah. So there are no human beings in this movie. This whole story takes place. It starts off on the planet where the predators, called Yautjas, I think is what you call them, where they come from, and then it's basically, again, it's kind of a pilgrimage or a quest that this one predator has to prove himself to his family, and go kill the beast and all that kind of stuff. But it develops into a different, kind of a bigger story, and it's pretty interesting. So I
All
liked
right,
it.
cool. That's
Thought it
good
was
to know.
decent.
Did you? I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Did you enjoy Predator 2? Do you
um,
remember it?
I don't remember it. I remember
You don't?
watching
Okay.
it. I do remember renting it on VHS, of course,
Okay.
and because it was what, Gary Busey and
Yep.
Danny
And
Glover.
Danny Glover. Yep.
Yeah, I
It's in this.
remember.
It's in like New York City
Yeah, I
or
don't
a
remember a
city.
thing about it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I maybe saw it once or twice, and then that was it. And then I never
Okay.
saw the Predator versus Alien movies. Honestly, I saw that movie Prey, which is a movie about, it was like a prequel to the Predator
Yeah,
series
you
or
watched that here.
whatever.
You watched that
Uh,
here.
I
Yeah, we
did.
watched it on
Was
my
that there?
patio. Yeah, we watched it. We watched it on my patio. Yeah.
Oh crap! I
Yeah.
didn't remember that. Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, well, so I was right. I did watch it. I just didn't remember where or with who. Um, so yeah, so I've
Okay.
kind of kept in touch with it, but not as much. But there is another tie-in in this new Predator movie to the Aliens franchise, so I fully expect, since both are
Oh,
run
is
by
there?
20th
Okay.
Century Fox, that we'll see another collab here in the near future.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure I've mentioned it to you. I, I think I'm one of the few, but I really enjoyed Alien versus Predator. That's a fun, and it's not a good movie. It's fun though. And give, if you have time, if you run across it, give Predator 2 a watch. It's
Really?
I really enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit. It's probably my second favorite of all the Predator movies, which is
Wow.
maybe not necessarily a very high bar,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy it. Yeah. So,
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
um,
Other than
all right,
that,
cool.
what I'm really, really, really looking forward to, like almost counting down the minutes, is the launch of the new season of Stranger Things, the new and final season of Stranger Things. And I'm pretty sure you said that you haven't watched that yet, but
No.
it is so good, and it was the first Netflix show that I really remember, first original Netflix show that I really remember really enjoying. And they're going to release the first four of 8 episodes on the 26th, which is next Wednesday. And I'm very excited about that, because and I'm sure you're seeing a lot of press on it. Like, the press is everywhere right now.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see where this all goes. I don't know if I have a lot of faith that they'll stick the landing, as we like to say, but I mean, there's 8 episodes and they're all like pretty lengthy. And the last one, I think, is going to be over 2 hours, and they're going to premiere it in the theaters as well. So I'll probably go
Oh,
see
wow.
that last
Okay.
one in the movie theater, which will be really cool. So
So I
I'm
guess
super psyched.
that's awesome. I guess I did not realize, and maybe I'm still wrong. I guess I didn't realize that it was a single story. I guess I was under the impression that it was more like a American Horror Story, where like every season is different. Is that not the case? It
No.
is like a singular story.
Yep, it's a singular story
Okay.
that
Okay.
follows the same group of kids, that gets a little bigger as the seasons go on. But there's like
Okay.
this core four, a group of boys, and then Millie Bobby Brown's character of 11, that she's involved in this too. And it's very sci-fi, but it's
Okay.
also very 80s, and they do a really good job of honoring the timeline that this takes place in. This is turning into a little bit of a 90210 situation, where all the actors are clearly much older than they were when they started this. I know that season 5 had a lot of issues with the strike and with COVID and all that stuff, so things got delayed a lot. But I'm hopeful that they do well with what's left here. But there's just some
Okay.
really, really great scenes and throughout the whole series, and they picked up some great actors along the way, and I love it. I love the music that they put into it, and I'm very excited about the first four
Cool.
episodes.
So not to circle back once again, but like that Goosebumps, the first series is set in either 1993 or 1994, and it's a perfect period piece when it comes to the music, the
Nice.
posters, the tech, yeah, I mean, kind of based on when we graduated from college, you'll get a kick out of it. So,
I did
um,
watch the trailer for that, by the way, because I was looking into possibly showing it to the kids, and I'm undecided based on the trailer whether or not it might be a little too scary for them. They're,
okay,
they don't
okay,
necessarily watch scary movies, but I'm gonna kind of maybe test the waters and see because I'd
okay.
certainly take your recommendation with value. So
Okay,
we'll
that's
see.
fine. Yeah, I've actually been watching a lot of stuff lately. So
Really?
we finished Superman 2025. We actually finished it tonight.
Oh wow, what did
Um,
you think of that?
so what did I think of it? I enjoyed it. It got a little bit campy for me. Like
Yeah,
campy is the wrong word. How can I explain this? So the with the exception, and I'll put the Batman Dark Knight series aside for a moment. With the exception of that, DC to me is always a little bit um, less realistic and more like over the top when it comes to like the fantasy type stuff. Like
sure.
I understand the Marvel universe is not quote unquote real either, but
Right,
where this one really lost me was like the rift of the universe and the black holes and the plasma river and like and that kind of stuff. And again, I understand that like neither of these universes are quote unquote real at all. It was just a little bit over the top for me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun. It was really cool to
yeah.
see Cleveland in it. It was, but it didn't make me want to see another one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess, and I see what you're saying. I would posture that a different way. I would say it makes me want to see a sequel. It doesn't make me want to see an expanded universe of everything that's happening around it, right? So like they're
Okay,
gonna make
fair.
the next movie is going to be a Supergirl movie, which she had a cameo at the end of this movie.
Yep.
So that's coming out, I
Which
think, next year.
I totally thought that was Sydney
Sydney Sweeney.
Sweeney, which it
Oh, yeah.
wasn't, but it totally looked
Yeah.
like her. It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the girl that was in the new Game of Thrones series, which I'm blanking on the name of it right now. But yeah, she's going to be the star of the Supergirl movie, and then they're talking about all these other things that they're going to do. And I'm not interested in the universe necessarily, or the other
Hmm.
characters that are going to get spin-off movies and all that stuff. But I like this movie enough that if a sequel came out, or a sequel is coming out, they've already announced it, and I think they
Oh,
already
did
have
they?
a
I didn't
date
see
and
that. Okay.
everything. I think it's called Man of Tomorrow or something like that. I mean, I'll watch that for sure. Like this was worthy of that. I want to see where his story goes and where Lois's story goes and all of that. I'm interested though in what you think of Lex Luthor because I feel like Lex Luthor as a character can be as polarizing as Superman in terms of who is cast and how they play it.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people know and love Gene Hackman from the original series, and Kevin Spacey picked up the role in the reboot, and um, I don't know. I think Superman is only as good as his foil, right? And I'm curious
Hmm.
to know what you thought. I mean, Nicholas Holt got a lot of really positive praise from this, and I'm wondering what you thought of that. Do you think Superman and Lex Luthor were equitable in this movie? Did they balance each other enough to make it a compelling story?
Um, that's a good question. Um,
I have my answer, but I'm
I,
curious to know what
no,
since
no,
you're
no.
fresh off of this.
I think that this is the worst performance of Lex Luthor that I can think of in a on the big screen. I never watched Smallville, so I don't know any of that. But yeah,
Wow, even
I
Batman
didn't.
Superman?
Which who was that? Was that
Jesse
Jesse Eisenberg?
Eisenberg? Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Well, maybe not the performance, but like at least Jesse Eisenberg's Lex, in my mind, um had a like this guy's purpose was just to like, there was this like land war, and then there was I want to kill Superman, and like, and he was like fighting him with like these robots. He was like calling out the moves, and he's
I
like
hated
A1,
that, by
A1.
the
Like
way.
it was
I
ridiculous.
hated that.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I didn't, and I don't know if it was the portrayal of Lex that I didn't like, or like kind of the silly, those kind of things that I didn't care for. I really liked Kevin Spacey. Obviously, I like Gene Hackman. But I'm not trying to compare. I I don't know, man.
It's hard, right? But I think it's a
It's
fair
really hard.
question.
Oh, it totally. Now, what I will say is, I think Nicholas Holt did an admirable job of playing Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Um, he did. Like he didn't take me out of it. He didn't, anything like that. Maybe maybe it was just the script issues that I had problems with. Yeah, I mean, he was an admirable Lex Luthor for sure. I mean, it wasn't that he was bad on screen. I just didn't
Yeah.
care for some of his choices, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I wasn't trying to lead you there, but that's kind of how I felt. Like I didn't have any issues with the performance. I didn't think the character was written that well. I thought he was written as sort of generic Marvel bad guy
Yeah.
that just wants to destroy the world, or just has no real motivation, or no motivation that I can buy into, because we just don't have enough from him. Um, and yeah, to my earlier comment, like I hated the whole predicting moves thing. Like
Ugh.
that was garbage. I don't know. Like I just didn't understand. I knew that they had to accomplish that. Like they had to bury Superman in the first act to make him seem more human, more relatable, and I understand that. But I really hated the execution of how they pulled that off. Um, so yeah, I mean, I thought that Nicholas Holt did a pretty good job. I just wish there was more between him and Superman. Like there was that scene at the end where they kind of start yelling at each other, and it's really
Hmm.
good, and it's good dialogue, and it's good emotion and all that stuff. But we needed more of that, I think, to really believe that they are arch enemies for whatever reason. And it's
Yeah.
kind of tough because that movie picks up, like, obviously in the middle of another story.
Right.
This is not an origin movie. This is not a here's how we got started. This is like picking up in the middle of act two of a much bigger story. And so, like, we're just supposed to assume that Superman and Lex Luthor don't like each other. And and as much as a lot of people don't want to see another origin story, it does really help to build the context as to who these characters are and why they feel the way they do about each other. So, like, if you don't have that, you've got to cram that in there somewhere. I just don't think they did that this time.
I would agree. And the other thing that I think this movie, now that and again, we literally finished it like an hour ago. So, the other thing that I think this kind of really suffers from is like the same kind of thing that, which one was it? Was it Spider-Man 2 or 3, the Sam Raimi one, where there was one of those movies that had just way too many villains in it and way too much going on? Was it
That
3?
was the third one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sandman and
So yeah,
Venom and
right.
Rhino, I think, was in there. Or I don't know.
So
Maybe I'm mixing them up now.
like those individual characters and those individual pieces I think would be good, but when you cram them all together, and like this movie has like, there's a Green Lantern guy, there's a Hawk lady, there's a guy that totally sounds like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Like the guy that like he's like the what's the
Oh,
name of that group? The just It's not Justice League.
it's the
Justice.
Justice Gang or something like
I mean,
that. Yeah.
come on, like, yeah, like, and I'm like, who are these people? And to your point, we've been thrown into the middle of a story that and unless I blinked and missed it, like there wasn't even a prologue for me to read to tell me like why these metahumans were there, or why they were involved, or why these other people beat the shit out of Superman at the very beginning of the movie, which I actually kind of liked. Like the way they started the movie, but they never came
Yeah.
back around to give me any context to like how he got his ass kicked and where the fuck crypto came from and all these kind of things, right? Um, so yeah, it's funny. Amanda was like, "This is silly." I'm like, "I understand you don't like this,
Well,
but like, yeah,
it's James Gunn. That's why.
what?
James Gunn, this is a James Gunn directed DC movie, right? Because this feels like Guardians of the Galaxy from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Only it's Superman. And I appreciate the shift in tone from what Zack Snyder did because that was way too serious. But
Yes,
this one kind of this is a Goldilocks situation where it's like this is too cold, this is too hot. I'm waiting for my you
this is
know,
just right."
this is just right. And I still think Richard Donner's version of all of this is just right because I think we had some good humor, but I think we had some good acting and drama and storytelling. But I don't know, like from my perspective, and this is maybe a whole nother conversation. I don't know why people are always shitting on origin stories. Like, well, we don't want another origin story. I think origin stories are critical when you reboot a universe like this, like to help give us the context of who these people are, why they're doing what they're doing, and all of that. I get it that nobody wants to see Krypton blown up again for like the 87,000th time,
Mm-hmm.
but if you don't give them something more, if you start it like James Gunn did here, it's like, okay, I guess we just gotta kind of go with it. And it's less about the characters and more about the story. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I just know that I prefer to attach to the characters. Like that's why I love Christopher Reeve because I love the way he played Superman because they
Mm-hmm.
gave us a story from beginning from literally the moment Superman was a baby
Mm-hmm.
to the point where he gets to Metropolis. Like they gave us his entire life. And it gave me an opportunity to get attached to who that actor and who that character was. And nobody has done that since and or nobody's done it effectively like
Mm-hmm.
that since. And so that's where I struggle with those things. Now that being said, I still like this movie. I liked it, but I didn't love it,
Yeah.
and I'm not waiting on bated breath for the next trailer for the next movie to come out.
Sure. Well, and case in point, so Amanda watched this with me, and she has probably seen the Christopher Reeve Superman when she was a girl, right? She hasn't revisited it in years, and
Oh
so
sure.
so not only does she not have what James Gunn didn't give us, right? Any sort of backstory, but she also doesn't have the the 40 years of history with the character outside of the James Gunn universe that at
Sure.
least we have, right? So she was kind of like, who the fuck is like, who is this? And who are these people? And like,
Yeah.
you're seeing, you're like, she doesn't understand who's Ma and Pa Kent and why are they, all this. So it was, it's a long way of saying you're spot on. You either need an amazing story that can stand alone without the origin, or you need, at the very least, some sort of origin to make you care about the story.
Yeah, and I got to
Yeah.
be honest, I don't think the story here is really it is the best thing I've ever seen. Like I
No.
think it's perfectly fine. It's serviceable,
Hmm.
but I mean the story should be everything. The story should be the core of the movie and
Yeah.
why we go to see it and what's being told there. And I don't see that there. I mean, I think there's elements to the story that if they had told it in a different way, then maybe we would be a little bit more forgiving with some of that stuff. But
Hmm.
ultimately, it's just like, it's all right. There was a lot that they crammed in there, and it was okay. It was maybe the third best Superman movie. I don't know. I can't think of. Uh, I liked obviously the first one and obviously the second one, the two Richard Donner movies. I don't know if
Hmm.
I liked another Superman movie more than this one. I probably watched Superman 3 with Richard Pryor more, but I can also say it was not a good movie. Like
Right.
it totally lost its way and never found its way back. Superman 4 was a pile of dog shit. Superman Returns. Um,
Had one good scene, was Superman Returns. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that one gets a little bit of a bad rep, but also in concept, Bryan Singer was way off. Like you just can't pick up and do half of what Richard Donner did. You know, like they used the
Yeah.
same music but different. I mean, Superman Returns is supposed to be Superman 3. It's supposed to be a retcon and supposed to like they're ignoring what happened in Superman 3 and 4, and this is the sort of Superman 3, you know, the continuation of the Christopher Reeve character, and you just can't do that when you do it like 30 years after or 20 years
Yeah.
after and recast the entire movie. All you're bringing back is the music, and it doesn't. It's just like, wait, what? What's happening? Didn't make sense. So like, and I didn't like any of the Zack Snyder stuff. I just didn't. So this is probably the third best Superman movie in my opinion, but
All right.
still one
All
that
right.
I'm like, I don't know. It's a bit of a tough rewatch for me.
All right. I got two more movie topics here for you. I
Do it.
watched have you ever seen the movie Carry on Netflix with Jason
No, but
Bateman?
I've heard a couple of people say that it was pretty decent. What do you think?
It's really really well done.
Okay.
It's worth watching. Amanda and I sat down and we watched it. Of course, we never sit down and watch like anything straight through, so it took us like three sittings. But yeah,
Yeah,
I won't.
same.
It's really it's well done. It's tight. It falls apart a little bit at the end, but it's really really well worth watching. So you didn't see it, so I won't get into it any further. But it's yeah definitely
I'll
a
check it out.
recommendable film for sure. Yeah. Okay, and then my last like topic here, movie topic at least. This concept of old movies being re-released in the theater, and like what do we think that means? Does that mean, so like as an example, there's all sorts of movies, Back to the Future, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, like I'm seeing all sorts of movies that are one weekend only, and not even like big huge movies either. Like there's some other movies that are being re-released that in my opinion were not even like super mega hits. Is the movie business just flailing so bad that they're trying to get any reason for us to go back to the theaters? Are they just playing on nostalgia? Is a little bit of both? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And I guess, are you going to those? Have you gone back and seen any of those?
So my answer to your first question is yes. I think they're absolutely trying to squeeze the rest of the milk out of the cow, or as
Hmm.
much of it as they can, because in conjunction with the re-releases in the theaters, there's the 4K ultra high definition Blu-rays that are coming
Hmm.
out, which I guess some people are buying. I mean, I do have a player that would probably accommodate that, but at the same time, you know, because of how movie watching has worked itself out, I just don't buy physical media anymore very much,
Hmm.
in a very rare occasion, maybe. And to answer your second question, yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do bite on that, but I do it. I take my kids, right? Like I try to give
Okay.
them the same experience that I had. So my reference point for that was this summer. I took them to see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in the theaters, because it was the, oh no, I guess it wasn't the anniversary, but there was some reason that it was playing in the movie theater.
Hmm.
Obviously, most theaters have like a classics or whatever they call it, where they show some of the older movies and stuff like that. Now, back to you mentioned Back to the Future. I think this year was actually an anniversary of like the
Hmm.
40th anniversary of Back to the Future, so that one's a big one. And they have seen that as well, and they really liked it. But I will take my kids to that, you know, one of those movies in the theaters because I want them to experience the same thing that I did, you know, when I was a kid. And they had never seen Indiana Jones. So it wasn't like they saw it at home and then I'm dragging them to the theater to see it on a
Okay.
bigger screen. They had never seen The Last Crusade and they liked it. They thought it was great. Another movie that's celebrating, I think its 40th anniversary, is the movie Clue, which they have seen, they have watched, and they think it's great. And I love that they love that movie. So I've thought about taking them to see that. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of shameless cash grabbing, but at the same time, And they are absolutely 100% trying to get people into the theaters to see this stuff. And it
Hmm.
makes no sense why they wouldn't do that every once in a while,
Sure.
right? I mean, like everything's digital these days, so it's not like they're shipping physical film prints to all these movie theaters.
Right.
They're just showing 4K, uh, digital versions of this stuff. So it's got to be super easy to do. And you'll always find somebody who's like, oh, yeah, I've never seen Jaws in the theater. I've never seen
Right.
Jaws was another one. This year was the 50th, 50 fucking years for Jaws. Wow, that's crazy. This was the 50th anniversary, which I'm a little bit ashamed to admit. I did not get to see Jaws this year in the theaters for its 50th birthday. But I do think there's merit to having them put that in the theaters, and I'm glad that they're doing it. I don't know of a lot of movies I would, uh, you know, stop the rest of my life to go see that I've,
Hmm.
from my past. But if I am doing it, it's because I want to take my kids and I want them to see those movies in the theaters for the first time.
Are you going to see the 4 hour version of Kill Bill?
I have two words to respond to that. Fuck yes, I'm going to see that. I love Kill Bill. I'm so glad that you brought that up because I wanted to
Yeah.
mention it and I would have forgotten it. Yes, Tarantino, notoriously a long time ago, cut these two movies together with extra footage and all this stuff and showed it to a few people along the way. And he's finally releasing it in the theaters, which I'm sure will eventually be on some kind of media. I love Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. I think they're brilliant movies. And this will be the longest time I've, not the longest time, the longest single movie that I've probably sat through, but I will absolutely go see that the minute the tickets are up for pre-order. I'm gonna go see that because I think they've got some extra stuff that they're putting in it, which is probably garbage, as all deleted scenes usually are.
Typically
But
are. Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to see it. Rest in peace, Michael Madsen. These movies are fantastic movies, and to see them together in one 4.5 hour sitting, I don't even know what it's going to be, but I'm probably going to have to get dinner in the theater for
In the
that.
theater. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. That was about all my oh, there is a which I saw today. There's a reboot or a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night coming out. Did you know that?
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah. Not an awesome movie to remake, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably see it.
I
Um,
I am going to see. I am going to the movies this weekend. I'm taking my family. We're going to go see the Wicked sequel that
are you
comes out
okay?
this weekend. We saw the first one in the theaters, and I liked it. I actually thought it was good. I had never seen the onstage production, or I had no
Okay.
context other than I knew it was a Wizard of Oz story, a prequel story, I guess. And I liked the movie. I thought it was good, the first one. The second one's not getting super awesome reviews so far, but I'm interested to see where it goes with the
Okay.
story. So
Do,
we've
do,
got tickets to see it on Sunday.
okay. Cool. Do you know? And I have seen the play Wicked. Do you know? Is the movie just are the two movies just the play broken up into two parts? You don't know?
Honestly,
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that I have to think that there's a lot more to it. Maybe pulling more from the book, if I had to guess, because
Okay.
the first movie, I don't know how long the play was. The first movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and
And the play wasn't. Yeah.
I have to guess that the second movie is probably close to that. So there's a lot of extra stuff. I mean, that I rewatched the first movie recently, and I'm like, oh, geez, really? This is like an animal rights movie? Is like that's why the Wicked Witch became
Okay.
bad because she doesn't like. I mean, no offense. I mean, like that's a certainly a worthy cause, but I'm just like, that's what turned her into a Wicked Witch, is that she didn't like the mistreatment of animals like that. That seemed a little weird, but I thought the performances were all good. The singing was great. It was an enjoyable theater experience. So we'll see what the
Okay.
second movie is. I'm really interested to know, and you said you saw it, and I don't want any spoilers, but I'm
Yes.
interested to know. I'm sorry, did you see the movie? Did you see the first movie?
No. I did
Okay.
not. I no, I just saw it in the theater.
So
No,
the
I saw
first
the play.
movie introduces the Wicked Witch of the West. Her name is Elphaba, and she has a sister who is in a wheelchair. I assume her sister is going to be the Wicked Witch of the East. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that seems logical to me. Who is the Wicked Witch that Dorothy dropped the house on at the beginning of the movie? So I I I don't know.
I,
Maybe that doesn't come into play, or maybe because like isn't that that's not. I'm sorry. That's not an assumption. That's 100% fact, right? So you dropped the house on my sister. That's a line in The Wizard of Oz, right?
it
Um,
is. It is. That's true. Yes.
so I'm assuming that they work her sister into the second movie somehow, or that they would have to if they want to maintain any continuity. But I don't know. Like that, her sister didn't have a huge part in the first movie, and she's in a wheelchair. Um, so I don't know what they're gonna
Okay.
do with that, if anything. But
I saw it once, like when it was on Broadway, like not on Broadway. I saw it like the year after that.
yeah,
And there
yeah,
was nobody in a wheelchair, so I don't, I
okay.
couldn't even tell you. I have no idea. So
Maybe we're
I
just
remember. Yeah.
making shit up at this point. I'm not. I don't know,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I don't have high hopes, but it'll be fun.
I've got one other topic, but I feel like I've been monopolizing this conversation. So if you have anything, I'll turn it over to you,
Yeah, go
and
for it, man.
we can.
This is awesome.
So my last topic is it's wrestling, right?
Okay. Okay.
It's and so um, like I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the WWE. Okay, and my concern is a couple fold. One is well, first of all, they're just pricing people out of going to the shows, like, and we've talked about that. um some of these like stadium pricing is astronomical and ridiculous. I think they made a really poor decision when they went away from, at the time, Peacock and Netflix, and went to ESPN. And I've read 1,000 different stories about how they're losing money and this, that, and the other thing. I can only speak from my personal experience. I have not watched a pay per view since they went to ESPN. Um, the shows that I have watched have been, I'll say, not awesome. And I was looking at their roster today, like they're getting really old. And that's not to say that old wrestlers can't be mega successful, but like once they get past John Cena's retirement, which at this point is like 3 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be left with a top tier of like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, who is our age or close to it, Roman Reigns, who is on the tail end of his career. He's quite a bit younger than us, but he's on his way out. They're talking about bringing back Chris Jericho, who is older than us. They're talking about bringing back, they just brought back Nick Nemeth the other day, which is cool as hell.
Awesome.
Dolph Ziggler, it was awesome. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but like it's been a long time coming up to Royal Rumble season or Survivor Series and then Rumble season where I have been less enthused, and I'm concerned about that. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just at a different point in my life, and maybe this is just kind of a lull in my fandom. But it bothers me that I'm not pumped. Does that make any sense?
No, it makes 100% sense. And I feel the same way because the barriers of entry to become, not to become, but to maintain your fan status with
Mm-hmm.
WWE is harder than ever because you've got at least three different streaming services that you have to maintain if you want to see all their stuff. You've got to have Netflix if you want to watch Monday Night Raw. You've got to have Peacock if you want to watch Saturday night's main event. You've got to have ESPN to watch all the current pay-per-views. You also have to have basic cable to watch SmackDown on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming, I get it that it's a big financial cash grab for them, and that's why businesses are in business. Like they want to make money, and I get that.
Hmm.
But between the pricing of the seats, which you can't go to a WWE event for less than $200 anymore. I mean, you can, but it's really hard. Like
Hmm.
the cheapest seat right now for the December 13th Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C., which is John Cena's last live wrestling match. The cheapest
Hmm.
seat available right now is $458.
That's
That's the
insane.
cheapest. And if you want one of those official platinum seats in like the first four rows, you're going to pay $4,000 at least for that. And you're right. Like I feel like there's a point where they're going to start losing their fans, but also like these arenas are still packed. Somebody's paying these prices, and I don't know how that's happening, but it's taking the casual fans like you and me out of it, and that really bums me the fuck out because my daughter loves this shit. She
Hmm.
loves it. We met Rhea Ripley last or no, this year, earlier this year, and it was so fun. It was so accommodating. They did such a great job with it, but like I can't justify taking her back to do that kind of stuff again because it just breaks the bank, and it also breaks my heart. And with the ESPN stuff, like I haven't watched a single pay-per-view since they switched over because I don't have ESPN. I'm not going to pay $30 a month for ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a demographic that I love sports. I enjoy sports, but also I don't watch it like 24/7. So I don't like as long as I have ESPN on YouTube TV, like which I thankfully I do again
Yeah.
after this last week.
Right.
Then I'm fine with that. I don't need 16 different channels and an archive of all their 30 for 30s to pay $30 a month for that. Like it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The WWE stuff being on there is certainly an incentive, but also like I mean we've talked about this before. Like think of where they've gone with this. Like they started with their own network, and that was that $15 a month or something like that?
9.99. It started.
9.99, and
Yeah.
then Peacock for a while was even cheaper than that. And now to watch the WWE content, it's like $30 a month. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I
Yeah.
don't even know. I mean, they're encouraging people to go out and buy these VPNs to go stream it, from Canada on Netflix or whatever. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. It's like you can pay like $80 for a 3-year VPN license or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm rambling. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I have not been a part of this world for a while now because I just think that they're positioning themselves so that you have to either be all in or all out. You can't be either
Hmm.
one. And I feel like I'm going all out. I'm heading towards all out because I'm not going to subscribe to all these services. I just can't. And then when you finally come to my town, I'm not going to spend five to $700
Right.
on tickets and food and t-shirts and belts and all that stuff. Like I can't
Hmm.
do that anymore. And I don't know who the hell is doing it, but apparently people are. Otherwise, they'd be bankrupt at this point.
Yeah, well, there's that, and then when you throw in, when they're having these PLEs in other countries, which is fine, but it's like so I'm not going to watch WrestleMania at 9 a.m. or the Royal
Yeah, right.
Rumble I'm just not, right? I mean, that's wrestling to me is I mean, it always was a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening thing, and now they've moved it to Saturday, which that pisses me off. But I'm just like I remember there was something that was in Perth, Australia, and it
Yeah.
started at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just not going to watch it live, and invariably I will say, oh well, I'll watch it, when I get around to it. Invariably, shit happens, and I don't watch it.
Yeah, or it gets spoiled and you just
Right,
get pissed off because it's like, well, I didn't get to experience that. Now,
right.
Perth was the what was that? Was that
Elimination
King of the
Chamber,
Ring?
maybe.
No, Elimination Chamber's next February. This was I want to say King of the Ring, but it's not. I don't, I'm blanking out on what Elimination or what Perth was, but
Yeah.
That's fine. It was a whatever you call it, like a B-list pay-per-view. Like it wasn't a big one. But
Yeah.
WrestleMania has been announced for Saudi Arabia, not this coming year, but the one after, I
Hmm.
believe, right? Who the fuck is, I mean, WrestleMania
I think
is the
so.
Super Bowl. Who the fuck is gonna watch? I mean, I get that you go to Saudi Arabia, you have to cater to that audience, but also you're forsaking the remainder of your viewing audience, which is where most of your eyeballs are coming from. For the, I
Hmm.
mean, for two nights or two mornings or whatever we're gonna call it, like unless they're going to unless they're going to record that in off hours in Saudi Arabia, which I don't think they're going to do, we're going to have to watch those either after they've been recorded, or we're going to have to get up at fucking 4 in the morning to watch it. Yeah, it's just it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Like I get it, Saudi's throwing so much money at that. They're throwing money at golf. They're throwing money at wrestling. It's like they're all over the place. But Jesus Christ, man, like the product is suffering, I think, and that's not like some xenophobic perspective. It's just I don't understand why they're making some of these decisions, and it makes me really sad because I want my kid to grow up a wrestling fan. I think that would be amazing, and it's again to go back to the beginning of my statement, the barriers of entry are getting more
Yeah.
and more difficult to break through.
Well, it bums me out, but it also makes me happy that I'm not alone. Like that's not just that I'm not going crazy. Like I'm not feeling things that are not there. Like you know
Maybe
what I mean? Like yeah,
maybe it's a Gen X thing. I don't know because we've
maybe.
seen, we grew up in the era where it was like the first couple WrestleManias, and it wasn't accessible, but it was also not um, it was not financially postured in a way that we couldn't participate, the way that it seems to be doing now. But um, I don't know. It is really tough and it is frustrating because I feel like they've got some good things going. Like the last two, I don't know if you've been paying attention to any of it, but the last two Monday Night Raws that they've had have been spectacular. They've made some
Hmm.
some some really good booking decisions and some title changes, and like people are just raving about it, and that's great. But if you don't use that to lead up to something more important in the PLEs, the Royal Rumbles or the WrestleManias, then it's like I don't know what's the point. It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Um. Yeah. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let me ask you this: will you buy ESPN even for a month or two to watch Rumble, Mania? Hopefully, we can get together for one or both of those. But like, will you buy those or not?
Um, eh, I don't know. I will say that with all the streaming services out there and the packages and all that stuff, I mean, you can
Hmm.
usually get a deal because every other week there's
Right.
some kind of thing going on. If there was like a free trial, yeah, I would probably do that for the Rumble. I might pay
Yeah.
30 bucks for a 1 month, you know, subscription to ESPN to watch WrestleMania. I might do that. I don't see myself doing it for any other pay-per-views though.
Yeah.
SummerSlam
Yeah.
is cool, but as we've talked about, is
Yeah.
not. It's just sort of an afterthought to WrestleMania, and War Games is kind of like, ugh,
Oh, fuck that. Like,
no interest,
I was,
no
I
interest in
was,
War Games whatsoever.
I was talking to somebody about war games the other day, and just like I was thinking about you because it was like it's 40 minutes before the match even starts, and I'm
Yeah,
bored.
yeah,
There's no stakes, and there's yeah. So
yeah. So, I mean, yes, I honestly the only thing I really want, I mean, if you came here or if I could come to see you, then I'd gladly pony up the $30
yeah,
to make that happen because it's the company that you keep that makes all of that worth it. But
yeah.
if I'm on my own, I don't know. I mean, maybe if Olive wants to watch and we're by ourselves and it's a 2 night event kind of thing, then yeah, I mean, what's 30 bucks? Like you can do
Right,
that, but I'm not maintaining a subscription for that by
right.
any means. Not a chance.
Yeah. But it'll be really interesting to see kind of how this shakes out because I really do still think that there's more changes coming, right? Because it's like I still don't
Maybe.
think we know what like where the network is going to go, where all the like older stuff, because that's still on Peacock now, like the old
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Everything is still on Peacock as it stands, as is the the NBC programming, which is the Saturday night's main event stuff, right? So that's so
Okay.
like John Cena's last match, which comes up in on December, what did I say, 13th. That's going to
Yeah.
be on Peacock, so that we can watch if if you have that.
If you
But
have
the
cable. Yeah. Okay.
pay-per-views are or the PLEs are going to be exclusively on ESPN going forward, which I thought
God.
wasn't going to happen until next year, but apparently they're just like, ah, let's just do it now. So there we are.
Well, they did it. The first one that they did it with, you were at, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
that the
it
one
was
in Indianapolis?
WrestlePalooza. Yeah. And that was
Okay.
a
Yeah.
stinker of a show, other than Stephanie Vaquer winning the women's title. Like, John Cena went out there and got fucking smashed by Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
And it was like,
that's right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, it was the weirdest. I mean, gosh, I don't even know if we talked about this. I mean, I think we
I don't
probably
think we did.
did,
No.
but
No, I don't think we did.
maybe not. But like, there was this big pomp and circumstance, and John Cena comes out with all these kids. Like, there's like 30 kids on stage all wearing the same shirt, and he comes out here and they do all this stuff and he gets squashed. And it's like, what? Like, I get it that he's there to kind of put people over in his retirement tour and all that stuff, but like, man, that was a real bummer. Like, that whole thing was just kind of it was a
Yeah.
real head scratcher. There were some other good matches, I thought. I
You got
think
to
that
see
was the
AJ Lee
first.
return, right?
That is correct. I did get to
Okay.
see AJ. It was that was the AJ Lee and Punk versus Seth and Becky. So I got
Okay.
to see Seth wrestle, which he's probably my absolute number one, of today's modern roster,
Yeah.
and that was really cool. And then there was the Cody, was it Drew McIntyre? I'm trying to remember who
Maybe.
Cody was
Yeah.
there. He fought somebody, but yeah, I mean, there was only like 5 or 6 matches, and honestly, the coolest fucking part of the whole thing was when the Undertaker rides out on a fucking motorcycle.
On his bike.
That
Yeah.
was cool. I'm like, oh my god, it's the Underbiker, and we were so happy about that. Like I never thought I would ever see the Undertaker live in person ever again, and to see
Yeah.
him in the same, well, not the same building, but the same kind of building that we saw him in
Yeah.
for the Buried Alive match with Mankind so many years previous was kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
just to have him there was really awesome.
That is cool. Let's see. I've exhausted my topics that I had written down. You got anything else?
I'll mention one other thing that I think is absolutely worth mentioning. We are at November 20th, 2025. Very, very deep into the college football season. And as of
Oh
right
yeah.
now, the Indiana fucking college football Hoosiers are still undefeated and heading headstrong into the Big Ten championship game as we speak. They are off this weekend. They do not play. They have a bye, and then they have to play their last game of the season in West Lafayette in Purdue, which, God, on paper, it should be an absolute massacre like it was last year. But it is in West Lafayette, and if Purdue's going to play good in any game this year, it's going to be
That's
against
the one, right?
IU.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a trap game. I actually thought the Penn State was the trap game, and
Oh yeah.
I was almost very right about that. Um, Purdue has not beaten a single Big Ten team this entire year. They are the last ranked team in the Big Ten. So IU should win this. I'm not going to boast or get too cocky about that, but they should win this. And if they do, they are on their way to play Ohio State for the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis, Indiana. And well, I mean, I guess I should say that's assuming that Ohio State beats Michigan, which they
Beats
haven't in a
Michigan. Yeah.
couple of years. I
Hmm.
would love nothing more than to see Ohio State get beat, but also I would love to be the school that beats them. That would be amazing. It's just really unfortunate that IU is having the best season of the history of the school, and the only team that's better than them, ranked higher than them, and also has a Heisman candidate happens to be in
He's
the
in the
exact
Big
same
Ten.
fucking
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that that works out that way because they could get overshadowed. I still think Ohio State's a really good team and has a very solid chance of beating IU if they do play in the Big Ten championship. But man, it's just exciting and it's so much fun. And they've played so well all year, and their coach is great and their team is great, and it's really bizarre to see. I mean, just imagine for a second, you and I in 1997 in 406 North Lane, waking up to see Indiana University be the number 2 ranked team in the nation, the number 1 team in the Big Ten. That's bizarre.
It's it's
This is
crazy.
a dream I can't even fathom right now.
Yeah, it is. It's nuts, and I still don't think Indiana is getting the respect that they maybe deserve. I think that's partially because of kind of like what happened last year. You know, they had a pretty weak schedule, but they killed the teams that they should have killed last year, and they only end up losing to 2 teams that ultimately played for the national championship. But god damn, it's been such a fun ride to watch them, and that Penn State game. Holy shit, man. You're right. I mean,
Mm.
I thought I was saying for probably 6 or 8 weeks before that, I go, look out for Penn State, man. They didn't get bad overnight. Like they lost a shit ton of games, but they're not a bad football team. They were ranked in the
No,
top 10 at the preseason, right? They're not a
I,
bad
I,
football team.
no, they're absolutely they're not a bad team. They
Yeah.
lost, I think, like 3 straight games, and that's why
Yeah.
is it James Franklin got
Yeah.
fired, and
Yep.
but they've got a lot of talent. And oh, by the way, Indiana has never won in that stadium before this year.
That's crazy. I
That's
didn't
the
realize that. Yeah. Until,
first
yeah.
time they ever won a game in Happy Valley. And so like I was nervous as shit for that game. I thought that that was a total trap game, and it was. It was absolutely that. But they pulled it off and they did great. And I know Signetti was happy about it because he was all smiles in the post game interviews and all that stuff. But I don't know. I don't have delusions of national championships by any means, but man, I'm just really excited and really happy to see them succeeding the way that they're doing. And if honestly, if they can beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten championship, that's the national championship for us. Like
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine anything better. But there are, to your point, there are many people that are trying to shit all over IU. Most of them are the what's his name, Paul Feinbaum's of the world
Oh, I hate that
that
fucking guy.
are just like SEC ball suckers out there that they just like, oh, the SEC is this and that. I can't stand that shit, right? Like everyone's like whining that Notre Dame is above Alabama right now. They're ranked higher than Alabama. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but Notre Dame has 2 losses, as does Alabama. Notre Dame lost to Miami, who is,
Hmm.
who started really hot and has trailed off a little bit, and fucking Texas A&M, who's the third ranked team in the nation,
Yeah.
right? And Alabama has had better wins but worse losses, and that's kind
Yeah.
of what it comes down to in a lot of
Yep.
cases. But people like the SEC, like the people that are just the sycophants that love the SEC are the ones that that just it sucks and breaks my heart. But IU should absolutely get the credit they deserve.
Well, God, it'll be interesting. When is that Big Ten championship game? So it's not this week, not next week. Is it the
So
following week?
it's funny you should ask because it's December 6th. And on that day, my neighbor and my very good friend, his name is Scott. He's having a baby, and his best friend, who is a former IU basketball player, is hosting a we call it a diaper party or whatever. And on that day, IU basketball plays, and that is also the night of the Big Ten championship. So like it's going to be this crazy day of all this fun and debauchery and all this stuff and getting to watch all that. So it's going to be crazy. It'll be a really really fun weekend.
December 6th. So that's only oh, that's the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so
That's
like
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
yeah, because this weekend they have a bye. On the 29th is when so Thanksgiving weekend is when all the rivalry
Yep.
games happen. That's when
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State, and it'll be Indiana, Purdue. The weekend after that's the Big Ten championship. So It's
Wow.
uh it's only 2 weeks and 2 days away right now. And it's crazy. And to think that it's in our backyard. Like God, if there's ever if there's a chance in the world, like this is it. We've got to fucking do
Wow.
this. And I mean
Wow.
just crazy, 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 crazy times. So I'm very excited
Would
about that.
have you looked into getting tickets to that game?
They're available. I don't think they're unreasonable right now.
Yeah.
But I no, I so it's funny you should ask because I'm very different with sporting events than I am with like concerts. Like I know that I can go to a concert and not be disappointed, or maybe the show's not great and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. If I go to an Ohio State IU football game and Ohio State wins,
Hmm.
I will walk away from that experience pissed off. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be it's like gambling. It's essentially gambling the way that I see it, which is like you sit down, you put a couple $100 on the table and it's gone. And they're like, yeah, but you had fun. I'm like, no, I didn't have fun. If I walked away with no money, I didn't have any fucking
I didn't
fun.
have any fun. Yeah.
And if I put down that kind of money for tickets to a college football game, I mean, it's risk versus reward, right? Like
Sure.
if IU were to win, it would be the best investment of my life. But
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
they lose, then I'm miserable. Like it was a
Yeah.
waste of time. How did I get suckered into that? All that stuff. So I'm too much of a puss. I wouldn't do it. I would rather watch it from home or from the comfort of my
Yeah.
couch or at my buddy's place or whatever, and enjoy it that way. So that way, if Ohio State wins, I can turn off the TV. I don't have to deal with all the obnoxious fans, right? Because
Yes.
we all know that the Ohio State fan base
Uh,
is a
little
little
bit.
bit
Yeah.
pretentious. So
Little bit.
yeah, don't want to deal with that.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, my brother and I went to a Browns game last weekend,
I saw
and
that. That's awesome. How
only
was it?
be yeah, it was great because I got to hang out with Mark. I mean, the Browns are a joke. I mean, and I don't know if we've talked about this in the podcast. I do not consider myself a Browns fan anymore. For the last maybe 2.5 years, I don't watch Browns games. I don't care if they win or lose. I like they finally broke me to the point where I had you know what I mean? Like I just had so many years where I was just so bitter. And I'll still watch them, but like I genuinely, if they lose, I don't care. If they
Yeah,
win, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I kind of just watch just to see what kind of a shit show they're going to give us. Case in point, that game the other day, they were winning or tied for 90% of that game. Not for not one moment did I think they were going to win that game. Like it never even crossed my mind that they would actually
yeah,
win.
right.
Like not at all. And sure enough, it was kind of cool to see, Shador Sanders NFL debut. But we immediately found out why Shador Sanders was the fifth round draft pick and why he's not playing. And, I mean, you don't blame the guy. I mean, he got no first round reps and he looked like he got no first round reps. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it was great. I mean, we had my brother got club seats for free.
Oh,
So it
nice.
was cold. We got to go sit in the club when it got cold. So it
Was
was
those
great.
seats better or worse than our SummerSlam seats?
They were, I suppose they were worse. They
Or
were
they were
a little bit
further,
further back because if you
but
remember,
yeah,
they were further. Yeah, they were on like the 45-yard line. They were great seats. They were the first row of the club on the 45-yard line. So they were amazing seats, but they weren't quite as close. We were in the lower bowl for SummerSlam, so they weren't quite as close.
yeah,
But yeah, they were amazing seats though. So
that's awesome.
um, and again, they were free. So, so because at this point, to your point about gambling with sporting events, right? I, there's no money that I would spend on a Browns game these days.
Yeah,
I
for
just wouldn't
sure.
do it. I just wouldn't do it because I know I'm going to be disappointed. So,
Yeah.
well, hey, that was a pretty goddamn good episode for having nothing to talk about, right?
I mean, we always have something to talk about, even if it's largely
Yeah.
nothing. So I
Yes.
love it. It's great.
So, well, hey, I probably won't. We won't podcast next week because it's Thanksgiving. But
Correct.
hopefully, in
Yes.
the next couple of weeks here, we can get back at it. And I'm always looking forward to it. I love. Um, I think it might be a good idea to maybe do like a year end wrap up thing sometime in December before we hit 2026. I
Yeah.
think that might be a good idea. We finally managed to get to 100 this year, which is awesome. And there's always a lot. We got a lot of good topics that we kind of have a running spreadsheet that we probably should get back to here.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, that being said, that's Mr. Pip. I'm Chewie, and this has been the 411 from 406. Aloha.
Adios, bitches.